Hi, everybody. Welcome to one of my favorite IC topic chats of the year. I call this the beginning of my holiday season because we always do it right as we're entering into the Thanksgiving and the Christmas holiday season. And so we've got Becky with us. I'm going to get out of her way, but I got to do one thing real quick and say hi to Bob Tornberg, who doesn't make it to these sessions, but he told me at the conference he watches them all the time. So everybody give a wave to Bob Tornberg. He says he watches all these after the fact, which I kind of felt sorry for him because that that sounds torturous. But anyway, Becky, the floor is all yours. Go crazy.
Well, I won't go crazy, but I will go. Hi, everybody. My name is Becky Garrow, and this is our third annual rapid fire session. So, just to reiterate, this is rapid fire. We're going really quick. You all ask questions, and I am going to answer every single question right now very quickly. So, we don't have time to do a lot of nuance or get into details. And if you don't like that, you can do your own rapid fire session. So, first, really important message 0% of this is professional advice, it is all professional opinion. So before you do anything that's recommended in this rapid fire session, get a CPA and go talk to your lawyer. Go do those things. Don't hold me accountable. Go do all the fact checking. Okay, part one, everything you wanted to know and weren't afraid to ask. What are resources to formalize your independent consulting business? I would start here. Go to your small business development center. They have a ton of resources available for free. They will oftentimes assign somebody to you to help you with a business plan, a marketing plan, get incorporated. Come to the Independent Consulting Topical Institute group chats. So come to these. They're every week. Matt does a great job. I have had a ton of things that I've done with my business because of this place. Incorporate. You probably want to be an LLC or an LLC taxed as an S Corp. Get a website. This is actually very important. The website is going to show people that you are serious. Pay for a domain. Just put something up. It can be minimal. Get a professional email. If I see matt@gmail.com, I'm already not going to think you're serious. I want to see matt@goshenconsulting.com, right? This is going to show me that you're serious. If you are using AOL, let's talk. All right. Is there a list of folks that others recommend and that now know the business? I don't really understand this question. So first, just start with your topical area. Are you in education, public health, veterans? Go start network with those folks. Again, come to the Independent Consulting TIG site. So join these resources, participate in the message board, a lot of stuff there. Is anyone talking about the inter-emotional work and self-management of running a business? Like any commitment, it seems to create an opportunity to address one's desires, needs, and vulnerabilities. What a beautiful question. So I'm not doing this. So I'm the wrong person to ask. So I'm going to recommend you connect with Dr. Tasha Parker and participate in the Healing Space, which is a monthly group that they do. It is a nurturing environment to connect with your independent consulting peers. Also, maybe we want to talk to a therapist about these things. I'm the wrong person. Very logical, no emotions. Okay. How much should I charge? Bling, bling. Number one question we get every year. How much do people actually charge? And does it stay constant per hour or change for different deliverables? Is it better to do packages? So there's a chat for that. Go back into the IC resources. I don't want to spend a lot of time because we've had some really good. This is a core topic, so we address it every year. So there's actually several of videos about this. There's also a really helpful spreadsheet that Dr. Matt Feldman of Goshen Consulting provided during one of these independent consulting chats. It is the third one listed right here, setting your fees. So I'm showing just screenshots of this with permission from Matt. So he has an entire calculation spreadsheet where you can go in, punch in your numbers, decide what your rate should be, and figure out how much you should charge. You also asked, should I charge by the hour or should I charge by the deliverable? So I'm going to go over just a few golden rules of thumb, right? So hourly versus deliverable based. My rule of thumb, if I do not know how long something is going to take, I want to charge hourly. If I know how long something is going to take, then I am going to do a deliverable based contract, putting in parameters to cap the number of revisions, the number of focus groups, the length of a document, what have you. So things that I do hourly are like website updates, grant writing, copy editing, meetings. Things I do deliverable based, writing reports, conducting focus groups once I've understood the parameters of the projects. I'll also do deliverable based for meetings and sort of like cap the number of meetings that we can do. So I know how long these things are going to take. Um, for hourly work, you are paid for your time regardless of the outcome. Whereas for deliverable based work, you are charging on value, not time. So that's an important distinction. Let's go to Bismarck, North Dakota, and look at Bombshell Salon's waxing menu. So this is a deliverable based contract if you go to this organization. If you're getting your full back waxed, that's going to be a different price than getting your cheeks waxed. And this is all deliverable based. It doesn't matter how long the technician is going to do, right? Different than Sunny Day Spa in Oklahoma. You are getting a massage. This is hourly based. Are they going to massage your back? Are they going to get the knots out of your feet? We don't know. That you're just paying by the time, right? There's no deliverable at the end of this. So just think massage parlor, think waxing base, decide if you're going to do deliverable or hourly. Okay. Next question. What is the worst case scenario if you do not register as an LLC, sole proprietor, or anything at all? So I'm going to do a distinction with sole proprietor coming up. But worst case scenario is somebody personally sues you and you lose everything. You asked for the worst. That's the worst. So, quick clarification. A sole proprietor, so I can say, hey, I want to open up Becky's waxing salon right now. There, I have a business. I'm a sole proprietor. You just say you're a sole proprietor and you're going to do it, right? If you're unregistered, you're a sole proprietor. Sometimes you might have to get like a city business license or something like that, but basically anyone can be a sole proprietor for whatever they want. When you are a sole proprietor, so you haven't done an LLC, you haven't done an S corp, you now have unlimited personal liability. Unlimited. It is unlimited personal liability. So let's say somebody gets injured or suffers harm by your product or services, they can sue you personally. They're not suing your business, they're suing you personally. Maybe you owe money to subcontractors that you've paid and then didn't get paid for. Maybe your clients are demanding refunds. You can't pay, they sue you. They go after your car, your home, your savings, whatever, right? So, an example, you operate a small business, you don't register anything, someone is harmed by using your services, they sue you, you lose. Because you have no LLC protection, they go after your personal assets. Okay, so we don't want to do that. And you're probably thinking like, well, I'm not selling like, the heavy equipment or anything like that. Who's going to get injured by my stuff? We're not selling cyber trucks. Okay. Let's say you provide an evaluation report with major methodological errors that leads a nonprofit to make costly decisions based on inaccurate conclusions. They can go after you personally. Maybe a contract specifies a final report by a certain date, but you turn it in late. That client loses eligibility for a grant renewal cycle. You've caused that organization harm. They come and sue you personally. You have a HIPAA violation. There are billing disputes. I actually know of a small business owner who had a billing suit and did have to go to court. It was a nightmare. What's our lesson? You have unlimited personal liability, incorporate. Okay. Next question, healthcare and software. Is there a cooperative of consultants that I can join that pools healthcare costs, licensing costs for AI, and other tools? Or what would it take for us to start one? Are there any downsides to consider? Okay, so first of all, I think maybe you just want a job because like a regular old job is going to offer healthcare and group software access. So no shade to that. Because this is rapid fire, short answer. This is a little nuanced, but the short answer is no. There's no cooperative of consultants you can join that pools healthcare costs. God bless America. We're just going to have to pay so much money for healthcare. Okay. Is there a cooperative of consultants that I can join that pools licensing costs for AI and other tools? Again, short answer, not really. And oftentimes this is actually not really beneficial. If you look at individual versus like group or team software accounts for Zoom, for Microsoft. You're not really having any cost savings. And now you're kind of in the group project from hell because you have to collaborate with other people. This sort of defeats the purpose of becoming an independent consultant and deciding what softwares and platforms you want to use. Starting out, how do I start from the ground up? Let's get our shovels. Okay. Starting out, number one, I would assess your personal risk and commitment to becoming an independent consultant. How much risk are you able to take on? Can you handle fluctuations and uncertainty in income and your job? Right? So just also think about your commitment. Is this something you want to do on the side? Are you willing to network and get clients? Are you willing to kind of think about additional opportunities outside of your skill set? So just kind of think about those things. Again, make the website. For some reason, we get a lot of questions about websites every year. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. So this is actually a website that I did for one of my clients, Magayan Carpentry. This is simple, right? It's one page, it's listing his services. We're talking about the things that he does. I did this on Google Sites for free. You can make a free website with Google. We paid for a domain name. It's $7 a year. So if you go to www.maggieoncarpentry.com, that website is costing $7 per year to maintain. We don't update anything, but it shows that this is a real business and you have services. I do the same thing with my website. Now, I don't do this in Google Sites. I do this in Square. It costs me maybe or Squarespace, excuse me, like $135 a year, something like that. But it's a good place for people to come see my work. My CV is uploaded there. I list my projects. Again, shows I'm a real person. So do the website. Okay, you're starting out, you've assessed your personal risk, you've made your website for less than $10 a year. Now you want to incorporate. See previous slides about the risk of remaining as a sole proprietor. Watch the IC Chat video catalog. There's a ton of great resources there. Contact your small business development center. Start talking to people. Get your first client. I think a lot of people spend too much time in that preparation phase. Start worrying about getting work. I learned so much more getting those first 1 to 3 clients that really changed the way I thought I was going to do my business. Is networking something someone should do before becoming an independent consultant? Yes. Getting clients. A number of independent consultants mentioned that their first paid work came through subcontracts with more established independent consultants. In today's market, what's the most effective way to do that? I got another similar question. How can I find projects to work on, either collaborating or getting new work? What are the important things to have in place? So start here. Tell people what you're doing, either directly or indirectly, in the beginning and just ongoing. So when I first started out as an independent consultant, I contacted everybody I knew. I took some people out to dinner and I said, I'm starting a new business. These are the services I'm offering. What advice do you have for me? I actually got some contracts based on those first initial meetings. But then participate and just kind of tell people what you're doing. LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever. I am not doing brilliant posts here. But if I do a workshop on grant writing, if I go to a tribal reservation and do some qualitative data collection, I post about it, try to post an interesting picture. It keeps you top of mind. So when someone is thinking of someone to do work, they will think of you. So just be in somebody's memory. You need to network. So get yourself out there, participate in the IC chat, talk to people here. Some people have too much work and they're going to need to hire someone. Make it easy to remember and hire you. And remember, people are lazy. I'm lazy. Do you think that I'm going and putting out these like RFPs and ITBs when I need to hire a consultant? No. Everyone here, if we needed to work with someone with Power BI, are we going to do a nationwide or countrywide search? No, we're going to hire Joe Travers because we're lazy. And we also know he does great work. Okay, get referrals. This is 0% time writing a proposal. Referrals are the best way to get work. Your repeat clients are the best and easiest clients. So at the end of the day, the easiest way to get work and do projects is to do excellent work. Make it easy for people to work with you. Give good quality projects. A repeat client is better than new clients. All right. Everything you wanted to share. So this was the advice portion and everything you weren't afraid to dunk on. Some of you all got some comments. Okay. It is important to incorporate an analysis of power, class, and capitalism into your own theory and framework for change as a consultant. Okay. When the second edition of Consulting and Evaluation with Nonprofit Community-Based Organizations is released, read it. It's an excellent foundation for new independent consultants. All right, let's all get ready to buy this book. Look for ways to present at conferences. A captive audience is great marketing. You don't got to tell me that. I love presenting at conferences. Don't underestimate the value of volunteering for a TIG or local network. Leadership roles open doors to mentorship and collaboration. Absolutely. Throwback to when I volunteered as the official sash straightener for the event co-hostess with the mostest at independent consulting mixer in Portland, Oregon, AEA. It's a hard job, folks, but someone's got to do it. Always be humble and kind. It will take you far. Oh, well, good and nice. Yes, let's all be nice. I suppose that you can think of each challenge as a way to surface and grow into some part of yourself that wants your attention. Consider not just what you're doing, but why and how you're doing it and the intentions and energy you bring to your work. Good life advice. I'm bringing the energy that Stone Cold Steve Austin and Dwayne The Rock Johnson are bringing to the ring every single night, circa 1990. Okay, keeping, defining, contracting role clarity, not just deliverables. Am I a coach? Am I a helper? Am I advisor? Am I a work for hire? Am I the official stash straightener for the event co-hostess with the mostest? So be clear on your role. Always be thinking about the next project. Even the ones that seem stable and provide steady income may not be. And it's always good to diversify your types of project and funding. I, like many of us, lots of work this year, both with the White House executive orders in February of 2025 and with the legislation that passed late summer. So I pivoted and started working more with my bike stuff and got to work with rad kids like this and teach them bicycle safety programs. But be diverse. Price for sustainability, not guilt or urgency. Your rate should reflect the true cost of time, thinking, emotional labor, and opportunity cost, not just deliverable hours. The Brazilian is $75, deliverable based. We're not negotiating that. They've thought about their price list and they're clear about it. Get an accountant early. Yes, don't lose that Skrilla. Okay, that was all your advice. And now we're in the part three. Ask me anything. Y'all are wild. No spicy questions this year. So that was nice. Thank you. What is one decision you made that most significantly transformed your consulting business? So I thought about this deeply, and to be honest, it wasn't one decision, it was a million decisions, right? So we're going to go back to Aaliyah, one in a million. So I'm just going to say, like, the overview: know when to quit. If you have a dead end, if something's not working for you, if a contract is going awry, know your escape route, right? Be patient. You never know when something's going to hit. I have connections or outreach that I did 3 or 4 years ago that eventually come back, or a conference presentation or an IC TIG chat where someone reaches out to me months or years later. Do not be afraid to fail or pivot. What I see with other independent consultants is they're afraid of making the wrong choice. They're afraid of pivoting to something new. Don't be afraid. Try something new. Oftentimes, we will continue to do the same thing that's not working rather than try something new and run the risk of failing. So don't be afraid to try something new. And when I go back to know when to quit, this is one of my favorite quotes. What really sets superstars apart from everyone else is the ability to escape dead ends quickly while staying focused and motivated when it really counts. I'm not saying don't be accountable for the responsibilities that you've taken on, but know when something is not working for you. What do you pay subs, so my subcontractors, versus what do I charge clients? So this changes depending on the project. So usually I go about this a couple of ways. Sometimes I'll do a 10% minimum. If I'm co-working with another consultant and we're kind of splitting up the project, if I'm the lead on the project, if I have the contract with the client, I'm just going to charge 10% off the back for the whole contract, right? That's going to handle the administrative work. I'm ultimately responsible for everything, the billing, the contracts, the risk, everything else, right? If I'm working with somebody else and they are doing skills similar to me, if I'm hiring another research scientist or someone with similar skills, I usually will charge just a couple hours over what they're doing, again, to account for my time and make sure I have time to review their work. Or I'll look at the level of effort. So sometimes I'm hiring someone who charges about the same rate as me. Sometimes I'm hiring someone who charges more than me. Sometimes I'm charging or hiring someone who, maybe like a community data collector or something, is charging much less than me. So that usually requires a higher level of effort on my part because I'm training, I'm supervising the work, I'm available to people for questions. So it really varies. I don't have a standard hard and fast rule for this. Okay, I got a really good question on the magnifying glass state. Can't wait to dunk on the East Coast. All right. So, because you're Becky, you've probably done the research. I am, and I did. Should I be rethinking about where I re-register my business? Would Nevada or Delaware, for example, be a smarter place to register an LLC or an S Corp than where I used to live and where I assumed I had to register when I first started out as a sole proprietor? Do I also need to register and pay estimated taxes where I live now? And do I need to re-register everywhere that my clients are? That's enough to make me want to throw in the towel. Okay, so first of all, why is this person asking this question? Why are they specifically talking about Nevada or Delaware? So in Nevada, they do not have any state corporate income tax. They also do not have any personal income tax. And in many cases, they don't have any franchise tax. If your business is very profitable, this might be attractive to you. Why are we talking about Delaware? Um, they have no state tax on income earned outside Delaware. So if your business is incorporated there, you don't have to pay state tax on income earned elsewhere. Many venture capitalists prefer that the organizations in which they're investing in incorporate in Delaware. And that is because Delaware has a specialized court. It's called the Court of Chancery that handles business disputes using experienced judges. They don't use juries. Again, if your business is very profitable, this is attractive. This is why I'm calling it magnifying state. Y'all are so small, right? We need a magnifying glass just to see on these United States of America, right? We can't even get your state name on your state. We got to put it out into the ocean. Okay, but anyways, this actually, for most of us independent consultants, this does not apply to us because if you incorporate or Delaware, Nevada, and you don't live there, that doesn't mean you avoid taxes in the state where you live or where you're doing your business. I live in California. I still have to pay California taxes, regardless of whether I've incorporated here or in Delaware. This is a rich people thing. So, like in Delaware, Google, Nvidia, Amazon, and Meta, like the Facebook, Instagram folks, they're all incorporated in Delaware. Nevada is where Twitter is incorporated. This is not us, guys. So, in short, no, don't rethink this. Just operate your business and incorporate it in the state in which you're living, unless you're at the level of all these gentlemen. Which, if you are a contractor for hire, okay. Managing the future and the present. I'm now in a tricky situation in which the project or client that makes up about 75% of my time and seemed very stable may not receive the funding to finish out the project. I'm in a bit of a limbo, wanting to prepare and work towards finding a new project, but also knowing that the funding could come through. Don't want to be locked into something that is too time consuming. I want to find opportunities to collaborate with others on a smaller scale for now while planning ahead for something new or larger. Okay, I have unfortunate news for you. You are not the bombshell salon. Right? So it's not like I can come and say, hey, can I get my upper lip wax today? And they're like, no, we don't have availability today. You can come in next week. No, this isn't happening, right? The life of an independent consultant just means that most of us are beholden to deadlines beyond our control. So we have grant start and end dates that people are hiring us to evaluate. There are federal fiscal years, state fiscal years, or just somebody else's made up timeline where we need to get this work done. That makes it really hard to plan for the future. And there's going to be overlap, right? So there's going to be periods of your independent consulting journey where you have too much work. There's also going to be times where you don't have enough work, right? So make sure that you have a runway so that you're prepared when you don't have enough work. I would not worry too much about having too much work because when you do, you can use your network. So when I have too much work, I have a large variety of people that I can choose from to come and help me and travel with me, right? So use your network when times are good. The independent consulting topical chaps, the people that show up here consistently, great resource for you to hire other folks. Okay. Next question. This is a big one. This isn't a question just for you, but I'm wondering how you will answer it. Okay, maybe a little nervous right off the bat. How can we pivot the business development conversations in the IC spaces a bit away from the capitalist orientation? I see so many tips shared around increasing your project rate, charging extra for a late payment, etc. I understand we have to make money to live. I also support myself exclusively through the IC practice, and I am not wealthy. But where in the conversation is the fact that we're working for increasingly cash strapped nonprofits and government agencies? Where is the acknowledgement of how much effort it takes to raise every dollar they're paying us? Some of these conversations sound to me like our clients are Fortune 500 companies. Speaking for myself, I like to get paid for my work, but I didn't go into this field to get rich off the backs of struggling communities. I wonder if we need a conversation about things like income and rate setting that take social justice into account rather than just figuring out how to make the most profit possible. First of all, yes, we do need this conversation. Whoever submitted this question, please talk to Matt. Let's have an icy topical chat about it. But I want to address a couple of things that were in this question to me. Number one, cash strapped nonprofits. So, first of all, I want us all to remember a nonprofit versus a for profit versus foundation. A nonprofit just means we're not distributing extra income to shareholders. We don't have shareholders. We're just going to spend our money. Some of the nonprofits I work with have like $100 million, right? Some don't. But you can actually go to GuideStar. They all have to file a 990. You can see how much money your nonprofit is bringing in on an annual basis. It's probably more than you think. Many of these nonprofits have money. They just don't have money for you. They don't have money for us to conduct an evaluation, right? Um, a lot of nonprofits are very dependent on grant and government funding, and those come with restrictions. So maybe they have a mission, and funders are just not funding that mission anymore. So it seems like they're cash strapped, but they might have other avenues for funding. I worked in nonprofits for 16 years before I started my own independent consulting business. And I've worked for a variety of very tiny and very large nonprofits. So let's just remember that. A lot of the times, I think, so your next question, are we getting rich off the back of struggling communities? Are we working with the food bank and instead of them providing food to their people, they're paying us instead? No. Most of us are actually not diverting money away from community members. It's not like they have direct services to the community and decided to redirect that towards evaluation. We are accepting money from organizations that need our services. I also feel that if somebody cannot afford evaluation services, again, they can't afford to implement the recommendations we're going to give them. Your social justice component. Do we need a conversation around things like income? Yes, we do. But I would actually be curious, what does this mean? Does it mean I charge less for organizations that are doing work in the social justice field? Maybe, but how am I going to determine who's in the social justice field, right? How's my pricing going to be tiered? Who gets access to my discounted pricing and who does not get access to my discounted pricing? If I'm budgeting something very, very low for an organization with a social justice mission, am I undercutting other evaluators that are actually from that community? Right. So there's just, I'm not saying we are, we aren't, but this is much more nuanced than we can answer in a rapid fire. So let's go through this a little more rapid fire. First of all, you can do whatever you want. Yay, we're all independent consultants. You can work for free or pro bono whenever you want. We can volunteer our time or services. We can tier our pricing. We can reframe this perspective. So I don't do this. I have one rate. I apply it to everyone. I have done pro bono work in the past. There's an IC topic chat where we talk about how to designate what you're getting paid for and what's pro bono so people understand the value of the services. I do volunteer, but I never volunteer for a client that pays me. I just feel that's a conflict of interest, and things can get really messy. But I want to talk about this volunteer thing at the risk of doing any virtue signaling. I have been volunteering for several years. There's a homeless resource organization. So every Thursday after the IC chat, I have my breakfast and then I go down to Loaves and Fishes in Sacramento, California, where I've been working in the dining room for about 4 years. This is something that I decided to do when I became an independent consultant because not only can we volunteer our time, but we can volunteer money. So you can give money directly to organizations. You have flexibility in your schedule. You can volunteer your time. So this makes me feel good about being an independent consultant. I can give back to my own local community. You can also volunteer your skills. So something I sometimes do is somebody's feeling nervous, they're at the shelter. They know I'm the bike girl because I'm always riding my bike to the shelter when I'm there for my lunch duty. I'll go with them to the bike shop, right? If they're feeling nervous about coming in and having someone incorporate them at the bike shop, we can go and pump your bike tires up there together. Okay, so that's what I do. We can do different things with our time and money. I feel better about this choice because I just want to acknowledge we live in a capitalist society. This is just the function of the society of the United States of America. We've all got to do our best. I also used to work at Blockbuster Video, and it totally sucked. So I want to remember I'm really lucky to have a job where I can feel good about the work I'm doing, but it's still a job. I don't want to think that my time at Blockbuster had any different motivation than what I'm doing here now. I still need a job. Most of y'all here still need a job, right? My time is important and my skills are valuable. So I don't want to feel ashamed or embarrassed about the value of my services and what I bring to companies. My money can do good, right? Also, the Groupon effect. A lot of organizations that do Groupon hate it because they do not get good customers. So undercutting your prices or giving steep discounts, this does not get repeat customers. Just pricing fairly, making your services accessible, but also making sure that your pricing accurately is helpful. Again, this is a job. Okay, great question. Where do you go for resources or for mentoring? My people, I have a big network. I have lots of people I've worked with, lots of people I still socialize with. Try and do your networking over food. It's much more fun. What's the biggest learning you gained in your first year of being an independent consultant? My learnings in year one, I wanted to be clear about boundaries, contracts, communication. I wanted to be open. I tried new things. I did work that I'd never done before. I tried new ways of doing my business, kind of learned what worked for me, what didn't. I was also closed. So I didn't want to do any work that I just thought was really stupid. I didn't want to work with any bad people. I didn't want to work with organizations that were super disorganized or treated their staff or me really disrespectfully. I learned how to quit. If something wasn't working, if something was unethical, I got out of there. But the most important thing I learned in year one, it was just to be me. I'm me. I'm an independent consultant. People are hiring for me. I really dug into that. I didn't try to be somebody else. I took lessons from other businesses, but I didn't model businesses. I did what I wanted to do. What do you consider the burning question of our time and for us as a professional class of evaluators? Well, I think the burning questions are how do I get clients? How do I get work? How do I get paid? How do I get contracts? How do I find people who want to hire me? This is the burning questions, right? But I would say the burning question, in my opinion, do I like my life? Do I like my job? So that is the burning question I would ask yourself. And if you say no to one of those things, amazing. Now you have clarity and you can make a change, right? You've done the first step of the evaluation. What is the most important skill to have as an evaluator? Communication. How do you set pricing in a competitive way that does not alienate us from opportunities to be selected? I don't do this. If you want Timu, like level of evaluation, that is not me. I'm not going to do that. On the other hand, I'm also not the Hermes. I'm not like the $10,000 handbag, right? So I price my services in a way that works for me, in a way that works for fair. I have a lot of work, right? I do not charge a low price. Billing for travel time? Yes. This is me and my bike on the way to Fresno, California. Have you had transformational experiences of growing from challenges and vulnerabilities into the values, confidence, and self-worth you practice today? Oh, thank you. That's so nice. Unfortunately, my answer is no, not really. I haven't had like big life-changing events that have happened to me. Um, I'm assuming you're maybe talking about the confidence that I practice, right? I wish I had tips for how to like increase confidence, but I was kind of just born this way. So this is me, and I found these three kids when I was camping, and I said, "Stand here, I'm going to tie you to this tree," and they all listened to me, right? So I was actually born pretty confident and assertive. I would say as a result of that, I was not afraid to make mistakes, ask for what I wanted, or ask for what I needed. Also put that I played sports my entire life. I still play sports, and I think participating in athletic events from a young age it teaches you how to win with grace. It teaches you how to lose with grace. It teaches you that like learning and skill development is going to be ongoing and you can constantly reevaluate and do something different. By the way, Lionel Messi, I see you totally copying my style. I see you. Okay. What's a decision that most positively shaped your consulting practice? I asked for advice from other small business owners. When I first started out, lots of lunch and coffee meetings. I ignored advice from other small business owners and total losers. I had so many people from MLMs, and a lot, no shade, of men coming and giving me advice that was just trash. So ignored that. I attended the IC TIG chats consistently. Highly recommend you do this. I ran the way my business I wanted to, and that's what I did. Okay. If your business had a theme song, what would it be and why? Okay. Are you the emoji person from 2024? Because just like last year, this question tripped me up. A theme song? This is so much pressure. I can only choose one song. We can't do like a playlist or something. So, this is probably, unfortunately, the question I spent the most time thinking about. So, we're just going to do a little countdown, right? Like, What were the songs I considered and threw away before I ultimately decided to do it? Everyone kept suggesting to me Frank Sinatra's My Way, and I was like, that's like a retrospective song. Like, I want to talk about my business now, right? So, number four contender was Beyonce, Summer Renaissance. Oh, saw her in concert, so good. I won't overanalyze, and she gives an applause, a round of applause. Third contender was Too Short, Blow the Whistle. Fun fact, this was the first concert I ever went to when I was 17 years old. Get it calculated, do the math. You're doing too much, can't handle all that. Blow the whistle. Second runner up was Detalles by Oscar de Leon. Tienes que estar pendiente de los detalles. You gotta pay attention to the details. Why am I choosing a salsa song? Did you not know I was a salsa dancer? But in the end, I had to go with the Low and Slow classic Lowrider Jams. This is one of my favorite songs. And I went with Aaron Neville. Tell it like it is. If you want something to play with, go and find yourself a toy because my time is too expensive and I am not a little boy. Okay, so that's all I have for the IC topic chat today. Remember, only you can decide how you want to independently consult. This concludes our 2025 rapid fire session. Thank you so much for attending and for submitting your questions and giving all of your advice. This is always really fun for me. Appreciate you all.
Thanks, Becky. Bye, everybody. If you're here live, stick around. If you're on the YouTube world, we'll let you guys go.